welcome to the first SuperWorld show. We're excited to have you here today. Our first guest is the amazing NFT impresario, Kenn Bosak, who is probably one of the most well-known people in the nifty or non-fungible token space. And we're really excited to have him here on the show, on the SuperWorld show, as our first guest. He's a great friend. He's an amazing guy, and he's just really probably one of the most well-informed people on what is happening in the space. And thanks again, Nate, for getting him set up on our show. And I'll let you further introduce him.
Thanks, man. Kenn was our first guest. We wanted to have him first just because he's a friend of ours, like we said. He's a good guy, and he's the CEO of NFTs, as a lot of people know. And we had a really good conversation. There's a lot of interesting areas that we hit, a lot about his origin story, his past, a lot of his trials and tribulations, and the things that make him sort of like, in some ways, the very serious but also very fun mascot of Nifty World. He's a man that's all about fun, but he's also not to be taken lightly. He's maybe one of the more intelligent people in this space that I've met. And he likes to pretend that he's not. And you're going to see that. He really knows what the hell he's talking about. So I love Kenn. He's a great guy, and he's one of our good friends. And I know that you're going to enjoy this episode.
We're excited to do this show. And, we're going to have a lot more coming every week. So welcome to the SuperWorld show. Welcome. This is the first SuperWorld show, and we have our good friend Kenn Bosak on, and it's Nathan and I hosting our first show. It's going to be a lot of fun, so I'll let you introduce us as well, Nathan. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, we're happy to be here. We're happy to bring you the first SuperWorld show. I know this is the beginning of an amazing journey, and it's cool to let Kenn have the first one because he loves the first bits of all these NFTs. And, as a part of crypto and NFT world, we figured we might as well cross those two streams.
And he's an amazing guy. So
yeah,
we love
he's a great
Kenn.
friend. So,
hi, I'm right here. How goes it, bro?
How's it go, Kenn?
What's going on?
Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate you inviting me to be the first guest. Thank you very much, man. I'm a fan of SuperWorld, and I'm looking forward to the SuperWorld show. And glad to kick it off here with you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we love you, man. So we're excited
to have you.
Thank
you. Love you both.
Yeah,
you're doing so much good stuff in the community. So,
I try.
Yeah, it was kind of a no-brainer to have you on as the first guest too. Like Rich said, with all the things that you do in the community, and just the way you're kind of the CEO of NFTs right now, and
someone had to do
it. Someone had to do it. So speaking of which, I know that you just had 2 big drops, and you're working on a third. Well, 3 really now, huh?
Yeah.
So that one yesterday, how was that? Was it pretty successful?
Yeah, about 20 of them sold. The minting happy NFTs. The auction for mint number 1 more than doubled its original starting position. So that was pretty cool. But what's really cool is that now that they have utility on our planet for staking for Aether, or I guess they call it Ether, it's Aether, whatever.
Yeah, Aether.
People are pretty stoked that they've been, just stacking some bro NFTs, and now they're staking them and getting some coin for it, which is just, I don't know, it's kind of like a dream come true to have such it's like, I don't know, for me to not be like a business or a brand other than just an individual, but yet I'm up on the same websites, like they're on the same things like Token Head and Our Planet, and I'm about to crack the top 10 on Atomic Hub. And I passed Deadmau5 on I'm like, yo, this is crazy.
Very
it's just been pretty surreal to see it all kind of doing things. Like people are listing, some of those Twerky Pepes, for thousands of dollars right now. That's the cheapest we can get. Some of them it's wild.
I saw one at 3X on a sale the other day.
Oh, there was a 4X today.
4X,
yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah, so it's weird to see I'm I'm forexing people's portfolios with my little collectibles. Like what?
Amazing.
And what kind of yield are you getting in AETH on those?
Well, it depends on the rarity. So you can go to our planet. I would definitely join their Telegram. They have a chart that will show you, depending on what rarity the NFT is, it will, yield a specific amount per hour on our planet. So our one of one that is out there, that is the legendary collab that we did. That's one of the only that is there's only two legendary NFTs that I have, and that's the only one that's still available, and that could be staked on our planet for the biggest reward. So that is going to be interesting to see how people like look at the rarities of my collectibles, because now that has utility on our planet, and it's just, collectible gifts and stickers and stuff. It's not really anything other than that, but now it is. It's become so much more, and I have memberships, NFTs that if people own, I airdrop them NFTs. I hooked you up with one for the collab, and I forgot which number I sent you, but after that night I did the airdrop, you're like, "Yo, thanks, I got a bunch." I was like, "Yeah, dude, it happens once a month," and yeah, so people
Yeah.
are already asking me like about staking their memberships and just making sure that they unstake it right
Yeah.
before the airdrop is done, so our planet doesn't get everything.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's like a little trick there that we might forget about if we're not more computer savvy or
Yep.
just blockchain savvy or
Just
anything
got to
like
be
that.
on top of it, set alarms
Yeah,
or
just being on
something.
top of your
Or
stuff.
just don't stake it, because I mean, I came up with the membership stuff, and I'm like, well, I guess if you're staking your membership, it's gonna say our planet has it. So I just won't airdrop to that membership, and you'll be leapfrogged, and somebody else will get the NFT.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think a lot of with what you do, like I made one for Rich that's not out there yet, but we're gonna try to do something similar with a collection that I have, that I'm bringing over to Wax. So, and I've got that one for you, basically made up with you
Oh,
as
I'm
the
so hyped
barbarian.
to show them.
It's
Oh,
crazy.
yeah,
I
the
didn't
airdrops are
see.
gonna be fun. I'm happy that we're gonna be able to do that, because there was a couple people in the chat that were like, I told them random times randomly, but it's kind of cool to get it so soon for them,
Yeah,
and
you
show
got
them
to be
that they're gonna
careful.
get
You got to say, at a random time. Like what
right.
if you get sick and you can't airdrop it the date that you told them on the blockchain?
Right,
You gifted
randomly,
it on the
random,
block.
random, random. I can't, yeah, express that enough.
Yeah, super random.
But it is intended to happen eventually at some point, and we already are about to do the first one, and then Torquay Pepe's working on our airdrop, and now I have another few collabs in the works with some of the top Ethereum NFT like artists, and we're working on our collabs and already talking about the airdrops for those as well. So it's kind of become a thing, which is
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, you're the
Yeah, there's
wax
so
king.
much. Yeah, so much happening in this space. By the way, just curious. And we I did your show, which was awesome, and thanks again for having me, Ken, on your show. And just curious, I was curious about like how you got into the space. Just kind of what's your origin story? I don't know if we really had a chance to go into that. I was just curious about it.
No, yeah, I could go into that a little bit. I mean, it
It's
was
like
like,
reading Genesis, hearing the story of Kenn Bosak. Like, let's hear it. I'm super interested. I kind of know it, but I want to hear it from you.
well, in like 2015, I was investing in cannabis stocks and stuff on TD Ameritrade, because I was like, I had a job for like 6 7 years or something, fixing phones and data restoration, doing micro soldering, and I had my own place. Things were going well. I had more money than I was spending for once, and I was like, wait, I should probably invest some of this. Like, it's not really doing anything sitting in the bank. And I don't really need it. Like, it's just and like there for a rainy day. Maybe I should buy stock. So I looked at like what I was in a cannabis. So I looked at cannabis stocks, and they did fairly well or whatever. But I wanted to get into the Snapchat IPO. That was what I was like really spending my like research time on, and just looking into it, joining groups and reading threads about Snapchat stocks. And I don't like money, so it wasn't like fun. It wasn't interesting. It felt a lot like homework. But I made the decision to kind of sell some of the stocks I had in the cannabis on TD Ameritrade. I got my cash together, and I was like, I'm going to try to get these Snapchat stocks. I did not know enough in 2015 about anything to do with money. Like, I just was like, yeah, I got money. I want these things. I'm going to get those things. Found out you need to be a accredited investor. I was just like, oh, well, is there any way around that? And they're like, well, not really. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, there's nothing I can do. That's just the
Yeah,
way it
you're
is.
out.
Right. I was kind of okay with it at first because it was just like, just seemed like the way it was. Like, I can't fly a plane without a plane license. Makes sense. I can't throw money into something. Just it felt like, all right, that's just the way the world is.
Yeah, it's weird. You could just have a kid that could like grow up to be a psychopath, but you got to get like a fishing license and a license to be an investor and all these crazy things, right?
Right, exactly. When you really start to look at it, it's like, well, this doesn't make sense. But again, at the time, it just does, right? And so you kind of like take that step back. And that step back for me was when Snapchat went public, and it was like 20 something bucks. And I was just like, oh, cool. This is like the only time anybody can really buy it, right? So I bought some. And then it went down to like $8. And I was like, wait a minute. What happened here? Like, who would just lose money why would you sell now? It's just like we just started. And then, you realize, oh, if you were a credit investor during the IPO, it was only $4 to get in. And I'm like, well, yeah, of course they would have sold it to me at $20 and down to $8 because they're still double their original investment. And they made a bunch of money on me because I'm an idiot. So I was pretty jaded. I cashed out in like 2016. I was like, that's it. January, very early. I was like, I'm going all in on gold. I figured I could use
thing. Like most people don't realize with those IPOs where the initial like investors on the ground floor and stuff, they see that thing double and they're like, all right, I want to get out while it's good. I doubled my money.
Yeah, I was mad, bro. I was so jaded, absolutely jaded. I didn't want nothing to do with any of it anymore. I dumped all my stocks and everything. I was literally going to go all in the gold and silver. I found you can use a debit card to spend gold. Like, you can just, like, swipe and spend gold. And I'm like, okay, why would anybody want to get paid in dollars when you can just get paid in gold and spend that at Starbucks? That's a better store of value if I'm going to work 9 to 5.
Peter
Much
Schiff
rather
just got
have it.
excited. He heard
Right.
you talk about gold for once. He's like, oh, come on, Ken. You're about to join the team. Let's go.
He's not wrong. If it was as convenient as that, Bitcoin wasn't more convenient. But anyway, I digress. Using gold. One of my coworkers, shout out to Matt Harris, one of my friends from the high school days. I got him a job working with me. And that is kind of why I got into Bitcoin, because like he was like that, fly on the wall, just like, spectating my little situation, didn't really chime in or nothing. You know what I mean? He just saw me going through my little Snapchat and weed stocks fits and stuff. And he's like, well, wait, there's this like digital gold thing when I mentioned my gold card that I was gonna get. He was like, yeah, if you try this like digital gold stuff, it's called Bitcoin, and like just kind of nudged it, didn't really show it hard, and I was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, well, I know you had a problem with this, IPO or whatever. Have you ever heard of like an ICO? And I was like, what's that? And he was like, well, basically there's no KYC. And my eyes lit up. I was like, yo, they don't care who gives them money. And he's like, nah, not really. And I was like, okay, like, let me look into this. So yeah, that was like around the time I decided I saw Andreas Antonopoulos in talking about the Internet of money, and then Vitalik talking about the Internet of things. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wait, if Bitcoin's the Internet of money and that Ethereum thing's like the Internet of things, aren't they like both the Internet of money and the Internet of things? Like, it's just programmable money. And it just was like, wait, scarce programming code. I was like, wait, if there was only 21 million lines of Java, I would buy one because Facebook would need it to do a thing with Snapchat. Yeah, this all makes sense. And I was like, all right, I'm going all in. We can use lines of code for currency. I could pay like for coffee with HTML5, just a fragment of JavaScript. Like, I want in on this, whatever it is. I have to figure it out. So in February 2016, I wrote an article. I do not know what a Bitcoin is, but I own one. And it was around $420 a Bitcoin or something, right? So I had no clue other than like it works, I can use it, and the permissionlessness of it. That's what was like the most. I can do whatever. I can just. There's no, ATM fees. There's no like, the market closes or something. There's
You got
no.
a friend like in another country, you don't have to, hope that he's not like on some sanction list or something. Like there's things that prevent you from just giving fiat
Yep.
currency
Well, the
to.
biggest thing I was trying to use as an explanation to friends was, I could buy a comic book from somebody in North Korea right now with Bitcoin. And
Right.
you can't do that any other way with any other currency, PayPal, Visa, banknote, nothing. But
It's
I can pay somebody in North Korea for their work if I like their comic book.
Yeah, it's the epitome of freedom. It's like it's inherently built into what Bitcoin is and was designed to be. It's this thing that frees us from all the systems. Decentralization is written on the logo itself. Like it's
Right.
all about removing the KYC that pisses us off and makes us feel like we're not in the club. Um,
Yeah.
I
That's
think a lot
awesome.
of people got into it the same way that you did. I had a similar kind of, I was buying stocks on Robinhood. Snapchat's, I think, well over $50 now, by the way. It's
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, a hodl makes sense, right? I
yeah, it
get
does.
it.
It does. Hang on to everything. Like it seems to be the
Never
way.
buy anything that you're willing to sell before 4 to 5 years. That's it. Period. Period. If you're like, oh, I'm gonna buy this to make money, 4 to 5 years. That's it. If you can't live without that money that you spent on it for that amount of time, it wasn't an investment. It was something you couldn't afford to spend money on.
Yeah, the trick is not to need it.
Right, exactly. You get away from that emotion. I am not
Yeah.
emotionally attached to this at all. I don't care what happens. All I know is I got this thing and that's it. Either I like
Yeah.
it for what it is or I could care less.
I am
And
not my
Yeah.
see what
Bitcoin.
happens later. But yeah, that's about it. Yeah, once
That's
you add
cool.
emotion, you're in a bad spot. And I guess I kind of freed myself from that because I was buying Bitcoin in 2016. And then I
Uh-huh.
realized I was like, well, I'm like, why am I buying this and then selling it because it went up and then I'm buying it back? None of that made sense to me. So that's why I started using Bitwage and I was just like, I can get paid in Bitcoin. It's like,
Yeah.
why go through all the steps of like, oh, I got to get fiat and then I got to find a way to get Bitcoin and then now I have Bitcoin. How do I spend? I could just have Bitcoin and then use it as Bitcoin.
Yeah,
So
it's
I
as easy as like connecting your bank account for like a direct
direct deposit,
deposit.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's
It's
called
it's pretty,
Bitwage.
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
Bitwage.
yeah,
Okay.
that's a cool one, man.
Yeah,
I've
it's perfect for individuals. So if you work at McDonald's,
Yeah.
you
yeah,
can set it up. Or if you're a small business, you can just set up your employees with it and they can decide whether they want like 1% in Bitcoin or 5% or whatever percentage up to 100% of their paycheck in crypto. It's pretty cool.
yeah, it's super
Yeah.
cool. And it's a way to sidestep the system. I mean, you're still
Yeah,
kind
you're
of
not buying it, you're earning it. And that is a huge difference, my
exactly.
friend.
Yeah, and you're not paying the exchange fees and you're not paying all
Yep,
these.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
it's
all the middlemen that weren't supposed to be here that are somehow here all of a sudden that people are okay with.
I wish that was possible for like getting paid in altcoins like that, not having to use that Uniswap mechanism.
That's a
That
necessary middleman
it
till
is.
Uniswap is the beta of Atomic Swap. What Uniswap is doing is showing people the sandbox testing grounds of what will become atomic swaps, where you'll just send your altcoin of choice
Yeah,
to a different altcoin of choice public address,
yeah, it's just
and in
exchange.
the middle it'll just happen. And we're getting there with things like Uniswap, but
Yeah,
Uniswap's
we're
been around
getting
for a
there.
long time. It's not like it just came out when it created Unicoin. It's
No,
been
I know.
around for years.
People forget like that didn't start with that airdrop and like
Yeah,
what was
exactly. That's when they think Uniswap was born. It was born with the airdrop. Like, nah, dude, Uniswap's got legacy. It's been
yeah,
years.
I mean, I
It has
remember like
really chipping
everybody's
in.
like, are they gonna get a coin? Are they gonna have something?
Yeah,
Like that was like the
exactly.
big question for a while. And
There were flies on the wall watching the regulators come in and how they handled things like Kick and Telegram and how they did their coins, and I think their airdrop was probably it took them a long time to decide that rather than like a token sale, right? Like I bet that was a 50-50 in team debate. And we saw that the airdrop won, but I bet it was a close call before it came to that. Otherwise, we would have saw a token sale.
Yeah, 400 uni to everybody that used it before, was it September 1st or something?
Yeah, the problem is obviously people that knew it was like pretty clear there was people that knew
They were hinting.
about that because they were like using 50 wallets that week.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
50 different wallets for large transactions, like $2,000 swaps with different wallets.
Yeah,
And
it was
then all of a
crazy.
sudden, all 50 of their wallets and then they consolidate it. And all this, people were watching the blockchain. You could just see, 50 wallets just consolidated to this.
A lot of people don't know how close we are to getting some serious.
There's only 1 to 2% adoption. I mean, every year we're going to see more people come in than have already been here. Every year, more people that we're gonna so many more that already exist. They'll be our education, our information, our help will be drowned out by the sea of people that just don't know. The FOMO hasn't even started.
That's
FOMO
incredible.
is nowhere is even close to start it yet. So the fact that we're here, we're like, we'll be able to take care of this. We'll be able to out the scams and tweet them out before they. No, you won't. But once FOMO really kicks in and we start to see 5% world adoption on this, we will not be able to keep up with anything anymore. And then from there, it just grows. Try to keep up with any scam on eBay, any scam on Amazon, any scam on Fiverr. It's going to be to that point.
Yeah, I mean, if like Peter Schiff or anybody like that kind of, Warren Buffett, these people that are like, I'll never buy Bitcoin, if they ever FOMO into it, say even at like 100,000, then it's going to probably like 1 million.
Yeah,
because everybody, they approved it, buy it. It's approved.
They don't have to FOMO in.
It's approved by the gatekeepers of like.
Warren Buffett has Bitcoin, right?
He probably that's the thing.
No, he has it because he has Tesla stock. Tesla has Bitcoin. Ergo,
a lot of people don't know that they indirectly have.
Yes.
Like if you own MicroStrategy, like before.
I feel like Peter Schiff. We have to see what's in his portfolio. Let's see what Peter Schiff's holding. I bet one of his stocks is holding Bitcoin. Ergo, he has.
It's hard not to now. All these Fortune 500 companies are buying it all up. So it's hard not to. And if you have Twitter, MassMutual, MicroStrategy, any of these companies. Plus the ones that just started buying it, like Tesla, I think, you hold Bitcoin.
I think the city of Miami is trying to buy it right now. I just read yesterday, which
that makes sense.
Huge.
I mean, Miami crypto is. Everybody in crypto moved to Miami recently. I can't name any, but I'm looking at Miami properties on my phone every once in a while, just looking at the Bitcoin price and going, I just miss my friends. I could move to Florida, right?
I want to go so bad. Rich, you were just there, huh?
Yeah. I was just there a couple of weekends ago, I think now. Yeah, it was a good time. I love it. I used to live in Miami Beach, so love it down there. But I do see that the mayor of Miami is like huge into tech and he's doing a lot of stuff. So is Austin. I mean, I just moved from Austin as well, and Austin's doing a lot. But I think Miami is definitely trying to take the lead position for crypto because they're trying to invest their municipal like treasury into Bitcoin. Like they're passing a resolution.
When all these governments like state, city, and even like foreign governments, U.S. government, when everybody starts to do that, there's only 21 million of these things, and a lot of them are lost already. A lot of them are like,
this is
not actually 21 million even. So
that's what I was gonna say. This is where FOMO hasn't kicked in yet because there's already not enough, bro.
People don't know like there's like not like there's not really that many that haven't been mined in comparison.
3 or 4 million are lost.
Yeah. And then lost.
3 million-ish left to go.
Yeah.
And already people are talking about a drought at almost 2% world adoption of this shit.
Wait until the next halving.
Yeah, bro, they're not even ready.
People aren't.
The fact that people are even talking about whole Bitcoins right now is going to be like a dream. In like few years, it's just sats. It's just sats. That's it. That's all we're going to talk about. Everything will be broken down to sats because whole Bitcoin numbers just won't make sense anymore.
Yeah,
it'll be way too big for people to wrap their head around all those zeros.
Yeah, everybody should be DCAing Bitcoin, like a little bit each paycheck. Just buy sats,
Don't even
sats.
have to buy that shit, bro. Download the Fold app, spin the wheel for free. You'll get some sat. I have begged everybody in my family to download the Fold app and spin the wheel, and only the ones that have like, all right, I'll just. It's not like they respect me because of where I've gotten in crypto. I had to get them to pity me to beg them to get that app and spin that wheel. Because like I think that's how they think I make money and how I don't have to go to work like they do. They're like, oh, Ken just got me to download this app. That's why he didn't have to go to work like me today. So I'm not going to download that app so he doesn't. You know what I mean? But I'm like, that's not how it works.
This bull run just made my dad respect me for the first time because he's like, oh, your financial advice is paying off here. I got him into Dogecoin when it was like under a quarter of a cent.
Nice.
And I was like, just buy it all up, man. Like, I was like, buy 1 million of them. Like, just get as many as you can. And now he's starting to like really make some money, and he's seeing it every day and being like, oh my God, what is this?
He probably thinks you're behind Wall Street bets.
Like, he's like, how did you know this? I'm like, I really didn't. Like, that was probably the least likely one to do what it's doing in some ways, but it's killing. So, yeah, it's anything with that kind of like, I guess like pumpamentals or whatever people want to call it. Like, it doesn't even have to be fundamental. It just has to be fun. And people want to buy it.
That's the thing. As long as you're having fun, it's all good. Like, who cares in the outcome? Like, I mean, I don't know. I never went to like Dave and Buster's and was like, oh, I'm going to play this machine thing. And if I, don't win something, screw the world or whatever. Like, oh, I lost all my money. I lost it all. I dumped them. No, it's like, just get better at the game. You know what I mean? But as long as you enjoy playing the game, take what you've learned, put another quarter in the machine, and maybe this time you'll win that prize that you wanted. And that's how I look at a lot of this.
You gotta have fun with it. Like earlier this year, I turned $7 into $900 in crypto. Like just kind of like playing a little game, just to like.
Bro, try explaining to your family that you can print money out of thin air because you make NFTs that your friends buy.
I know, dude. Just also, when I showed
them, they're like, oh, you're going to prison.
Dude, when I showed them like, what they can do with like Maker and Compound and how they can like essentially print money.
Like, right, I'm like, yo, yeah, now you can stake my NFTs that I sold you, and you can get money for buying them. And it's like, I'm like, yes, I might not. I took it one step farther. I used to be my own bank for 5 years. Now I'm my own Federal Reserve.
I'm printing Dai every day, like just because I have like in certain protocols, like I'm just getting
stake, like, and they're not even. Some of them aren't even my own NFTs. I got some NFTs that farm NFTs. I provide liquidity and stake my liquidity tokens and get I get shards of NFTs that people want because they need their shards so they can get the whole thing. It's just
you get digital weed constantly from the one NFT. We were showing.
Did you see how much that weed's worth now?
It's insane. I was gonna bring that up. Like things like that people think are just so silly. Like that stuff's worth a ton of money right now.
At a nickel. I got it.
I'm Rish, co-founder and CEO of SuperWorld, a virtual world in augmented reality where creativity and entrepreneurship come together on one decentralized platform. From the Empire State Building to the Sydney Opera House to some of the more obscure places on Earth, in SuperWorld, our world is yours. Yours to buy, yours to sell, yours to create, and yours to explore. SuperWorld is mapped on top of the real world to create over 64 billion unique plots of land, with each plot measuring roughly 100 meters by 100 meters of real-world space. To give you an idea, one plot of SuperWorld AR real estate is about the size of Yankee Stadium. Ready to get started? Find land to cultivate for its strategic real estate location as a digital asset or that holds sentimental value for you. Buying and selling virtual real estate in SuperWorld is easy, as all transactions take place securely on the Ethereum blockchain, and every plot of land is represented by a non-fungible token on the ERC 721 standard. Personalize your world in AR through interactive 3D objects, animation, photos, videos, and text to truly make a world of your own. Ready to find your peace on Earth? Join us in SuperWorld.
Yeah, that notoriety is good for people.
Exactly, bro. It's almost a badge of honor at this point.
that's all that we need these days. We live in that culture where it's kind of like, as long as you have some social credit, like you're I guess okay in some ways. I try to care about that stuff, but it does actually seem to play an important role if you're trying to get somewhere, like in podcasting, art, business, anywhere.
Exactly.
You have
Own
to
my
do it.
land though in SuperWorld. That's the difference between like
That's very
buying
cool.
something and owning something.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because we're building something so cool there, and it's important for people like you to see that in some ways, because you have the ear of like a lot of people in crypto, and you have like a big following, and it's cool that you're able to help preach kind of what we see too, and what we're doing. And
I'm just hyped to
nice to
play.
have an ally.
I'm just hyped to play with it. I'm like a big fanboy, just waiting to like be a big end user. You know what I mean? I kind of see like, I don't know, like how people like Banksy could use things like SuperWorld, just running around in a virtual environment and like make art on a wall that's only viewable in like SuperWorld, but then whoever like owned that land that Banksy decided to visit and like graffiti on the wall in SuperWorld, like bro, like that's like owning the building that the paint was put on in the real world, but now it's not there anymore.
And all of a sudden they're monetizing and they're making a living off of something that somebody else did, almost like a favor for them by the artist in some ways, but also
And
like,
exactly, but that's what I feel like Banksy does sometimes. You used to see back in the day who he would bless with his art on their walls, and he knew how they handled it by taking the wall like apart and rebuilding the wall, but that gave them money to do more things. And it was like, I get it. It was like, it was way bigger than just the picture that we've seen.
Yeah, that's something I think we're really for, is, you know, kind of creating a culture where, you know, creativity and art and music and just really kind of fostering people to do things for the world, to improve the world, right? So yeah, I think you're right that like people are going to want to decorate and to beautify places that they have a connection to.
Yeah, no,
look what Bezos doing right now with his art show, and you know, I mean, everything that people are that are already a part of this, that are building, like they see what it is, and they see what it will become. Also, like it's like building the foundation to a mansion or something. Like that's kind of like it's like we have the plans, we see everything, and it's being constructed, and the people that are joining the efforts every day are like more impressive and more impressive, and it's just like, it's really cool to see it all coming together, and pretty quick too. Like I'm surprised at how quick some of these things move, to be honest. Once you get the interest of people, and I guess kind of accurately convey to them the vision, they're like, oh, I'm in. Like, let's do this. So
yeah.
And this podcast is another good way of getting people on board, you know, getting, you know, the community getting more information out there, and helping us to figure out like what we should do. Like, you know, with working with you, Ken, you're on the kind of the forefront of what's happening in the NFT world, and working with you, we can figure out how we can build SuperWorld and you know, keep improving it and make sure that we kind of integrate with all the things that you're interested in. That's our goal.
I would love to see like a SuperWorld airdrop. You know, that would be like a cool thing. Is like where if I could buy you know, New York's Times Square in SuperWorld and have that block right there, it's like it's only 0.1 ETH. Like I could buy Times Square, you know, in SuperWorld. And then I could say, well, if you physically go there, like here, you know, and open like your SuperWorld app, I could airdrop NFTs to people that like go there at like 4:20 p.m. or something, right? And now they could get all those nifty Wizards weed NFTs airdropped if they open up their SuperWorld app, and it's just, I think that would be so much fun just to play around
Pokemon
with.
Go kind of
Right.
you know, like and that's what people need to see, like the vision of. Imagine having that same thought with like the ball drop in New York City, or like some kind of some like,
of course, I could reach out to sponsors and say, "Hey, the ball's dropping in New York. I did a weed drop the other day. Like that
yeah,
was
we're
fun
gonna
and
shoot
all."
NFTs.
But if you want to give me zero point 0.1 ETH, I could put up a billboard in SuperWorld and do another weed drop. And this time, when they open up their SuperWorld phone app, they see all these weed things they can get, but they're also going to see whoever sponsored, coin flip ads or something in the background. So now I can monetize as well as gamify that. And I think just as an individual, I could see that playing a key role at corporate levels. Businesses like Coca-Cola love stuff like this, man. They've always been innovators. I mean, I remember the Coca-Cola DJ Sims video game in like the early 90s where it was like a multiplayer multiverse game, and it was like so early, but it was a brand like Coca-Cola that did it, and not like, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm like, businesses are going to use this for marketing and community building before we see it really be played with at a bigger level,
Yeah, it reminds me of when everybody your friends growing up, and you're like, what if we could do this to make money? What if we do that? And kind of just makes it like, that's kind of what SuperWorld can be for people.
Yeah, it's almost like imagination land,
Yeah, absolutely.
Imagination land.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, there's so many possibilities. And so, I think that's a great one, and we're doing that, right? We're figuring out kind of how do we, I think a very simplistic level is how do you add anything anywhere? Right? How do you create anything anywhere and then discover anything anywhere, and then how do you monetize anything anywhere?
Right.
Yeah. Very simplistically, create, discover, monetize. And, all of those ideas that you just mentioned are part of it, right? And so, yeah, I think as we're kind of building, we want to, bring in people like yourself to start kind of telling us, hey, what if I could do this? And then we can make that happen.
Yeah.
So that's what we'd like to do.
What you want. Like,
we
want you to want us, like Cheap Trick said, I want you to want me, Ken. Like,
well, how about
what's the world that you want,
Well, I want you guys to use Wax NFTs instead of Ethereum. and I feel like it could be doable. Hear me out, quick elevator pitch. Yeah. If I were to buy the Wax NFT for the land at the same dollar value or whatever of Wax to ETH, it would just take that Ethereum NFT off the market and put it into like a smart contract tied to the Wax one. And then I could have the Wax one and send it into the smart contract to redeem the Ethereum one. But I just wouldn't have to pay the gas fees. There are so many weird things that we can play with interoperability. Right. So, I mean, exactly, with the way that these things are set up now, it is somewhat doable. But I do know that SuperWorld is, it's been working on this for a while, and like thinking about doing that is like throwing a whole new like wrench into the toolbox. But I think that playing with other blockchains now is going where the puck is going, not where it's at now. Like SuperWorld's dominating where the puck's at. Go where the puck is going, where it's just, forget, maybe it's not Wax, whatever, just interoperability, where other blockchains, where I could have my SuperWorld NFT recognized on multiple blockchains, because multiple blockchains are going to give different NFTs, staking, DeFi, leasing and loaning, different alternative options.
And the bridges are starting to exist. I mean, they're bridging these different chains constantly, left and right now.
Yeah, the bridges are coming, so the dApps have to start adopting them. That's all.
Yeah, it's very, very close. I mean, even people like Darwinia, like some of it started out as like a game bridge essentially, but like they're doing real business solutions.
Yeah, dude, the game right now is interoperability. First person to like figure out, how do I build a dApp on Ethereum using Tron smart contracts and Wax NFTs and throw that all into one thing and then make it all work across. That's like Fortnite, right? Like Fortnite blew up because it was one of the first games that you could play on Xbox, and your friend could have a PlayStation, and your other friend could have a computer, and because it didn't matter what you were on, but you could still get on the same server and play the same game at the same time on the same team. That's interoperability. That's why Fortnite blew up. Interoperability.
Yeah, that's why it's huge.
100%.
That's the way everything's trying to go, and that's what's cool about what we have at SuperWorld is we're like all about kind of making things better.
Oh, I love that you're not maximalist. It's my favorite part. A lot of projects decide that they're going to be maximalist. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Like, oh, we're only going to make iOS apps. Like,
You
yeah,
can
but
at
there's a lot of Android users that like what you're doing. Why wouldn't you
you can at
just?
least listen to people. Like we don't have to change everything, and things don't always have to switch up. But like, it's important to hear people out, because a lot of times, by being a maximalist, you're minimizing the the amount of success that you can possibly have by kind of diversifying your outlook on things.
Yeah, ecosystems are no fun, man. And I mean, I have I don't even know what this is. I have like a Windows laptop. I have like a PS4. I have a Mac. I have a Vizio TV. I have all different things, because ecosystems, they're just not fun. They're all the same thing in a different device. And it's like, oh, you can't do that with this, but you can with that. I'm like, well, you need a fork and a spoon and a knife, right? Like, you can't just live with a spork. It's convenient, but it's just not fun. And that's what I feel like a lot of people do when they ecosystem themselves into like the Apple ecosystem, where it's like, it's so convenient, it's seamless, right? You wake up, your watch, your phone, your car, everything's all, but it's not fun. It's just
Well, I
mundane.
don't see why we can't create a new version of the spork. Like, why can't we create something that doesn't exist? That's what we're all about.
You're right. That's a good point, man.
And that's the thing. It's like, why go to the spork because the fork isn't working? Like, then the spork is going to have some business. Oh, the edge is too rounded. I can't cut it. Now we need to sharpen the edge and give the spork a knife edge. So it's
or enable you to create whatever tool you want to create.
Exactly.
Yeah, let you
so
decide.
We don't decide, you decide, but we'll give you the ability to decide, in this case, what blockchain you want to use. And that's the goal. We're cross-platform.
Are you working with Vesa with his art gallery? Because I know he's building like this virtual, real interactive VR. It's actually physical, but it's metaphysical. I have, and it's I don't even know how to describe it with words. Every time I try to describe it to a friend, I'm like, hey, have you ever seen that movie Being Joe Malkovich?
Yeah, I have.
Because it's like that movie, but being Vesa. That's how I feel like this experience is going to be.
His mind is like the classic mind of an artist too, like just so creative, and so like there's this mix of light and dark, and also like you're not sure like he's so amazing, but like you also don't know like what he's gonna say next.
Oh, if you look at his art, you never know what he's gonna do next.
That's what I'm saying. Like, his expression is kind of like you're guessing, I guess. Like, all right, well, where's this going? And then every time, beautiful, perfect.
Yeah, when I first met him, man, it was such love, and I mean, we got to spend my entire birthday together at a concert at a club in Vegas, and I mean, not to go too far or whatever, but it was like one of the best, dude. It was like we ended up going to the bar, and we didn't realize, because it's Vegas, right? Like, it's always daytime, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's always noon. It's so bright. It's literally always noon. So we were just at the bar throughout, like, partying and whatever. Somebody ordered like pancakes while we ordered shots, and we were like, all right, bro, it's time to go to bed, right? Like, we have partied into somebody else's breakfast. You've partied too far.
Yeah, you've gone way too far. You guys saw music together, right?
Yeah, it was Cardi B. Yeah, that was her name, dude. Oh,
yeah, I think.
And you know what's funny though? The club I was at, right above my head was a statue, I think, of like a statue of David or whatever, right? And it was like this 50-foot, like, just right above my head, bro. For no reason. It's a giant statue, like a Greek statue in the middle of this nightclub. It's huge. I mean, like, the statue, I was probably, but like, it was way big. And I just looked up, and it was just like, to remind me not to look up again. I don't know the name of the club. Some people may know, in the comments below. I'll never go. I couldn't stop looking. Okay, Nathan, you're right.
Yeah, you had to. I can't stop.
Sounds like Caesar's Palace, a place in there in Vegas. I used to live in Vegas, so I know Vegas a little bit.
I just kept thinking about the poor people who had to carve it, like, with, like, you're just, you know what I mean? Like, circumcising of statues.
Rich, what's the craziest thing? I'm sure you saw some crazy stuff living in Vegas. You ever seen?
Do you have any like crypto stuff? Because Vegas is pretty big on Bitcoin and pretty big on crypto and stuff like that.
Yeah, when I lived there, I was there in 2015, so it was before like crypto really started blowing up. I mean, I was already in crypto, but it was still like a little bit underground. But I've been back for a couple of crypto conferences there. So yeah, been a good time. But the one I went to was in 2018, the last one I went there, and it was kind of crypto winter a bit, you know. So it was a little bit more a little bit more kind of downplayed, but I think I mean Vegas in general is fun. I mean, like, it doesn't matter like whether it's crypto or not.
I was
mean,
there 11 times
yeah.
in 1 year. That's how much fun
Yeah.
Vegas is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't gamble.
Yeah.
I don't gamble. I never
Yeah.
even really gambled, bro. I probably played like roulette one time, but Vegas is so much
What's your
fun.
hardest to
So much
believe
fun.
Vegas
Yeah.
experience? Like, what's
I
the one
got
where
proof though,
I don't
right? I
believe-
have one with this. I do, but I don't remember everyone who was there. But there's
Okay.
definitely people. I think Yuki might even have been there. There was people there for this. I'm wearing a hat that has like Bitcoin on it like this, except it's Vegas. So of course it's flashing, right? It's like a Bitcoin LED hat. And I'm just walking down the strip, and a lady of the night comes out and puts her arm around me and she says, "I accept Bitcoin." And I'm like, pff, like I just thought she was from the conference, right? Like I thought she was one of like us, like with the group of people we were walking with down the strip. And it took me a minute to realize, like, oh, she's not at the Bitcoin conference. Like, she actually accepts Bitcoin. And I'm not kidding you, if I wasn't with a group of people headed to I don't know where, I definitely would have less Bitcoin today than I did then, because I was like, wait, and we started talking and she's like, yeah, I've been accepting Bitcoin. Of course I accept Bitcoin. And I'm like, why? How? I'm like, if you're accepting it, why are you still accepting it? Like I'm just like sitting here like, you know, like if I don't have to work anymore, why do you? You know, like I'm just tweeting.
Pop out your QR code.
And she was like, she was just like, I like this job and I like Bitcoin. And I was just like, I respect that. And I don't know, man. I didn't like get her number or nothing, because I was like, lead me not to temptation, for I shall find it myself. But my friends pulled me away from it. But yeah, dude, a girl in Vegas just walked up to me, started pitching me herself for Bitcoin, and I was just like, because Bitcoin was the topic of conversation, of course I can't walk away. I'm just like, you know, I'm a podcaster, I'm an interview. I just want to talk to her now and get to know her. And of course, all she's trying to do is get to know my private keys.
Yeah.
Wow.
Private keys, huh? Well, that's impressive, man. I can't believe that you came in so hot. You've given us such a beautiful first episode.
Yeah, it's awesome stuff.
This was a lot of fun, man. I can't wait to see what you guys cook up on your next one. People that tuned in, let me know what the name of that the conference, the club is with that statue. And if you were there that night with me in Vegas, please just, you know, comment for proof that you were there when she did that, because I cannot. I was with a group of people though. I know that much.
Well, man, dude, we're definitely gonna have you back soon. This has been a blast. I love it.
Thanks, Ken. Thanks for all the recommendations as well. And you know,
Of course.
Can you tell everyone where the best places to find you are online? How do people kind of follow you and get to know you on social media?
Just KennBosak.com, KENNBOSAK.com, and I own NFTforsale.com.
That's right.
Awesome.
Yeah, dude. I own every way that you could spell it. So just however you feel like it, just type in NFTforsale.com and there we are. I'm there.
That's amazing.
That's amazing, man. Well, I love you guys. This has been amazing. This has been the first episode of the SuperWorld show. I can't believe it's here. And we're going to have so much more coming soon. I can't even wait to announce our new guests. So
yeah, thanks so much, Ken. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you both. Yeah, thank you. And thank you for SuperWorld, man. I really look forward to everything you're building. It's a lot of fun playing around with, you know, my friends, collecting pieces of virtual world and comparing who owns what where. It's so much fun. You know, collecting NBA Top Shot moments is one thing, but then collecting, like, I don't know, like the White House or the art museum or like, yeah, monuments, it's a whole different ball game.
Absolutely, man. Well, we love you. We hope to get you talking about SuperWorld more, and we're happy that you genuinely like it and that you're not just pandering. That makes us feel really good. So we love you, man. We're super appreciative.
Love you too, man. Yep.
It's great for your time. We're super thankful, man. So I love you guys, and this has been the SuperWorld show.
Have an episode.
Thanks. See ya.
Bye, guys.